sharks.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
I didn't mean to start you on that.
No. You ever get a little spooky from a shark? You've had some encounters?
Yeah.
Or do you have a relationship with them? What's your relationship with the shark community?
It's good.
It's good. Clearly, we're here.
It's good.
We're here.
It's good. It's good. And you have I believe that when you've been in the water a certain amount of time that you have that kind of
your pheromones.
You have a sixth sense.
You got
too.
that pheromone too, so it's proposing that.
Yeah, they know that I'm not like there's no interest in me. I'm not projecting fear. Yeah.
I just hope
well,
after my guy
it's an honorable way to go.
I mean, you die doing something you love. It's not tragedy.
I mean, listen,
that's a point break right there.
Anytime you go in the jaws of a creature, it's probably not the.
It's kind of badass.
That's full cycle, full circle. That's high level. But that being said, I saw Jaws as a little kid, and so I used to think sharks were in swimming pools. I mean, definitely don't. Not very aware of sharks. Don't do stuff like I'm going to swim across this bay with little tiny goggles that I can't see anything with, and wonder why something happens. I mean, so I'm not doing I grew up fishing with some Hawaiians, and they used to do this thing called a hukilau, and a hukilau is when there's a big pile of fish, there'll be a spotter, and then they'll row a boat off from the beach out with a net, and they'll circle the whole big thing with a net, and then they get two groups of people, and you pull the nets in, right? And so I grew up doing that as a little kid, and they do that in the summertime.
What's it called?
Hukilau.
Hukilau.
So you do a hukilau, and hukilau means pull. So you pull, then you pull in. I mean, it's a giant pile of fish. So I used to drive trucks when I was really young, because that's a job that you can do that doesn't require you to be an adult. So if I can drive, I'm too little to be strong enough to be helpful doing labor. But if I can drive a truck, then I take an adult out of the truck and put him in, he can work.
Yeah.
I can be 10 years old if I know how to drive a truck. So I learned how to drive back trailers up in the sand and learned how to drive little kid.
The trick when you're doing the trailer, you put your hand on the bottom, and wherever you go on the steering wheel, that's where the trailer will go.
Exactly.
That's if anyone.
Exactly. Well, and there's a difference between driving back in a trailer up and looking at the trailer, and then also looking at the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Those are two different. Those are two different kind. Like you can be a great trailer guy looking, but can't do it in the mirror, and then you can be a great mirror guy and you can't do it in the thing. Those are two different type of driving.
You ever get stuck? You just put your hand on the bottom of that wheel.
Yeah.
And
control it.
You can, because whatever way you put that hand, that's the trailer.
Yeah.
It's gonna go that way. That's what my dad always taught me.
Good teaching. But so anyway, so my point is that finally I got old enough to be helpful. And one of the jobs is that as they pull the net in, they have a couple swimmers in the boat, and you swim down as they pull the net in and make sure that the net doesn't catch any rocks on the bottom, because you have all those people pulling, you'll break the net and then the fish will all get away. So you dive along the bottom and then you pull yourself along the net. So I'm finally get old enough because I'm good in the water. They're like, okay, now boy, you're going to go and you're going to go swim the net. So on one of the days.
A lot of fish. I'm just, that means there got to be a shark in there. They keep going. There's got to be something in there.
First time I'm there, dive down, I'm pulling myself along the bottom like that. I just get a bad feeling. I'm just like, I go like that and look, and there's an eyeball right by my face, like this. And the net's clear underwater, so you can't even see the net. And there's just an eyeball. And I'm like, so I just kind of pull back, and it's a big hammerhead, like a big one. And so I just swam straight to the top, and I went, big shark.
Is that shark signal?
Well, yeah, just like, hello, like here they are, here he is. And so get in the boat, go in. They pulled like a probably, I'd say 12 or 14 foot. Maybe it could have been bigger than that for like big old hammerhead when they pulled the net in, because normally they try to open the net and let the thing out, but it wouldn't go out. So then they just ended up pulling it onto the shore, because the relationship with the Hawaiians is that's your amakua, which is your ancestors go into the shark. So they have a very
amakua.
Yeah, you have a good relationship with the sharks. So that was the beginning of, and I've seen some big tigers, and I know that, the girl that got her arm, Bethany Hamilton, got her arm bit off at my home break that I spent many years, paddling its way offshore. out at sea. I've been out there a lot with me or just a couple guys. And I mean, with all the years that I've been in the water, the amount of sharks I've seen is so few, like honestly. And I always say the shark you see is a good shark because you see it. The ones, anytime anybody's ever been attacked, they didn't see the shark.
Yeah.
You know, it's a mistake. I mean, but if you're spearing fish and there's blood, if you're wounded and there's blood, if you're making weird movements in the water, I mean, it's normally mistaken identity. But I have like, you know, I'll get a feeling like I'll be out somewhere and I'll just be like, this is not. I just feel that they're around, and I'll go in, and then the guy will be like, oh yeah, did you hear? And I go, what? They go, oh, they saw a giant tiger. Then I'll be like, oh yeah, I felt that thing in the morning. But
you know who that reminds me of? Who's the guy? Free Solo. What's his name?
Alex Arnold.
And we sat and we did a speaking engagement together, and he had that same attitude. If I feel any kind of spooky, I'm out. You got to go when you go.
Go when you go.
You know,
Absolutely.
If you have any kind of something, the fear, that's telling you.
Yeah. And you have to listen to that. That we have instincts for a reason. We've had those skills for a long, long time. That's been something that's why we're still here, because we had that. You know, you're hiking along, you're like, oh, you know what? Something around that corner, I don't know. And then there's like, oh yeah, there's a giant bear or something. Like we just have those things. We've lost a lot of those, but they're in us. And if you can, I always say it's good to practice your intuitions when you have them. If you have some feeling, you call, you know, how come you get a weird feeling? You call up so-and-so, you're like, oh yeah, oh, you can't believe, or it's so great, or I was thinking of you. I mean, so that's part of that tool. And I think you can definitely sharpen that tool. That tool is, especially if you use them and you go off of them. I think they guide you. And so I'm a big proponent of that, but the sharks definitely will be something that will definitely make that tool important.
Yeah. Anytime I'm out there, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Never seen one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, there's no fences. I tell people
There's no fences.
there's no fences.
There's no fucking fence.
They are where they want to be.
Yeah.
But they really don't want us.
I know that.
Because if they did, you'd know. They don't. We're not good eating. We're too many bones, and I mean they can eat some nice. There's a lot of nice stuff to eat out there. But then the orcas are the king, so then you can always think about that, you know.
But I saw Free Willy. I mean,
yeah,
they had a relationship. You know what I mean?
Only in the movies.